What's that? An Edgar Allan Poe poem about haunting, about loneliness, and about haunting loneliness? It can't be. But it is. Welcome to Strip Coverlet, where we squeeze the bigger picture out of literature. I'm Adrian Ford, and we're here for another poetry discussion, which will appear in several playlists here on the channel. Number one being the poetry discussion playlist, now approaching 600 videos. Number two, the Edgar Allan Poe playlist. Number three, the Haunting Horror Fest 2024 playlist. Now, the poem in question today is known under two titles, either The Lake or The Lake dash dash two dash, depending on where you find it. But it is from Edgar Allan Poe, and it reads as such. In spring of youth it was my lot to haunt of the wide earth a spot to the which I could not love the less, so lovely was the loneliness of a wild lake with black rock bound, and the tall pines that towered around. But when the night had thrown her pall upon that spot, as upon all, and the mystic wind went by, murmuring in the melody, then, then I would awake to the terror of the lone lake. Yet that terror was not fright, but a tremulous delight, a feeling not the jeweled mind could teach or bribe me to define, nor love, although the love were thine. Death was in that poisonous wave, and in its gulf a fitting grave for him who thence could solace bring to his lone imagining, whose solitary soul could make an Eden of that dim lake. There is an interesting conundrum set up by the beginning of this poem. Our narrator says, in the spring of youth, suggesting that he is no longer in the spring of youth. And then the speaker goes on to talk about haunting the lake. Ghosts haunt. Ghosts are dead. Ghosts are the past. Even if we have a ghost of a younger self, even if we have that younger self being so young as a child, ghosts are a representation of the past. And now our speaker is older and thinking back on his younger self, and in some ways embodying that younger self, haunting that younger self. The younger version is prematurely aged. The younger version, worried about unrequited love, worried about perhaps unspoken love, is older than a child, is dealing with things beyond the years of what a child or a young person would normally deal with. So this youth is longing for his love, and our speaker is longing for his youth. But longing, why? A feeling not the bejeweled mind could teach or bribe me to define, nor love, although the love were thine. Where are we at here? A feeling not the jeweled mind could teach or bribe me to define, nor love, although the love were thine. We have there the beginnings, but then we have where is it? So lonely was the loneliness. So lovely was the loneliness. Pardon me. Our speaker here is acknowledging that the love existed, but also the speaker was lonely. So we have maybe an unrequited love, but it seems to me that this is an unspoken love. But even if he didn't have the woman, it does seem that he knew her, right? This is not love from a distance. This seems to be love from someone who is around or love for someone, who is around. This does not seem to be sort of a longing for someone that the speaker has never met. It is simply an unprofessed love. But how do we know that the love is not unrequited? It is just unspoken. Well, it seems to me that we have a few hints here if we take a big step back in this poem. Our speaker mentions loneliness at the lake. The whole setting for the poem is the lake. And up here, in the spring of youth, it was my lot to haunt of the wide earth a spot, the which I could not love the less, so lovely was the loneliness. Here, without the title, we would be imagining that our speaker is simply haunting loneliness, that is, in this poem, a physical place. Haunting the loneliness would be a physical place. But we do have that title, so we know, and we get in the very next sort of couplet here, we get description of the lake. So the lake becomes the lake itself becomes a symbol, introducing the idea of loneliness. And then we go into the wild lake with black rock bound and tall pines around. We have a lake of desolation. You mean to tell me there's no birds here? There are no bats flapping around. There are no stray cats. There's no squirrels. Nothing like that. Here, our speaker does not mention it. Our speaker simply mentions the rocks and the pines. Still, surely, there is life. There's life at the lake. There's going to be life there. This is not nuclear fallout. This is not some dystopian future. There is life at this lake. So where does it exist? The only place left for life to be where it is not mentioned directly in the poem is under the water. So that lake that becomes one in one with the loneliness is home to the only other life that exists. The life there is under water. It is submerged. It is hidden. Like our speaker's love. Now, in my opinion, the big reason for this poem to be written is this. We have our speaker who is lonely. We have our speaker who is saying that he does have love, and that love does belong to someone else. The lake is the place to which our speaker goes in order to feel this love. Okay, the lake is desolate. There's no squirrels. There's no stray cats. There's no birds or bats. It's just a lake. Our speaker is haunting this place where the love, where the life is hidden and submerged below the water. This is the reason this poem is written, the sort of emotional undertones for this poem, therefore become our speaker is stuck in the place like a ghost, stuck in the emotional place like a ghost, of wondering what would have been had he professed his love to the beloved. Because that never happened, because, like all of the life at this lake, his love was submerged. It was unseen. It was hidden, his love. Because it was so, he never had the opportunity. He never even had the opportunity to be turned down. Because of this, like a ghost, he returns to this spot where he would go to feel that love, wondering what could have been. He can't move on like a ghost. That is all I have for this poetry discussion. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting the like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other literature lovers. If you find yourself here by chance but not design, there is poetry on the channel every Monday, and I hope to have you back for the next one.